Am I the asshole for telling my husband he should have just married a white woman? For context, I'm a black woman and my husband is white. I have 4C hair and I wrap my hair in a satin scarf to go to bed. For those of you who don't know what that means, basically my hair curl pattern is really tightly coiled, so my hair texture is kinky and easily tangled and easily breakable if not taken care of well. I used to sleep on a satin pillowcase when my hair was shorter and had a lower chance of tangling while I tossed and turned in my sleep. But recently I've added oils to my nightly routine, and since my hair is a bit past my shoulders now, the chances of it tangling are higher and I don't want my pillowcases to get soaked with oil, so I started wrapping my hair up again. First night I wore it, my husband said that I looked like a slave, which was a little bit funny and a little bit true in my scarf and nightgown combo, so I let him have that one. But since then, it's the little comments when I get into bed. Like, "Are we doing the slave tonight?" Or, "Should I help you into bed, Grandma?" Little things like that. I've explained why I'll do it, and I think he understands that, but he simply doesn't like it, and my hope was that he'd get used to it by now. Last night I was getting ready for bed and I couldn't find my scarf anywhere, so I asked DH if he'd seen it and he admitted that they hid it but wouldn't tell me where. He wouldn't stop joking around even when I got visibly upset and said he wished he could run his fingers through my hair or something along those lines, and I snapped and said if he wanted that he should have married a white woman. He got really quiet after that and told me where he hid it. We haven't talked much about it, but there's this air of awkwardness. The only times he mentioned it was this morning when he said that we should look into counseling for our race issues, and that I made him feel really racist, and I didn't think about it that way. I thought he was upset because I yelled at him, but I didn't think it was the statement itself. Granted, I probably should not have brought race into it, but I wanted to illustrate a point. Now he's suggesting couples counseling to get through our race issues. I don't think it was that serious, and I don't want to go through all that. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Saying your black wife looks like a slave is fucking weird and racist. Trying to control how you style your hair is weird. Being so bothered by a headscarf is weird. I think he's the only one with race issues that he's projecting onto you.
Not the asshole. You made him feel racist because he was being racist. It was really mean of him to make those comments and hide your scarf. I think you should go to counseling, if only to have a third party tell him how wrong he was for doing that to you. Wait, so he said, "Are we doing slave tonight?" but you made him feel like a racist? Go ahead and call the race therapist ASAP. Also, you need backup scarves, sis. I have like 4. Hide my shit, try me.
Not the asshole. What the fuck is a black woman with a white husband? When I lost my bonnet, he went to Target late at night to grab me a few new ones. You can't marry a black woman and not want her to do black woman things. Disgusting slave comment too. What the fuck is he thinking? Don't let him gaslight you. This started with him putting what he wanted over you and even trying to force you to do what he wants and saying it looks like a slave to sway you away from it.
Not the asshole. He was being racist, though? You might tolerate or be forgiving of the slavery jokes, but another black girl might not be. Not sure why he's upset he was made to feel racist when he was being racist. Keep wrapping your hair. Get counseling for your BFS immaturity. I hope he treats you better in the future, or you find someone more respectful.
He's right, the two of you should go to therapy to discuss your race issues. His issue is that he doesn't understand what it means to be married to a black woman with 4C hair. He needs a safe space to ask questions and get answers that aren't yelled at him. Wear your headscarf. No relationship is worth sacrificing your edges. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. If he feels like a racist, it's not because you made him feel like a racist. It's because he is acting like a racist. Referring to your wife as a slave is an extremely racist thing to do. Done once, it would have been a joke in extremely bad taste. Done repeatedly, he's just a genuine racist. NTA. Saying your wife looks like a slave is, without question, a racist statement to make. You didn't make him feel racist. His attitude toward your scarf and hair care is racist.
Not the asshole. You should go to couples counseling for racial issues because he's being fucking racist. Telling a black woman who has her hair in a scarf that she looks like a slave is disgusting, and clearly he knows that's racist, otherwise he wouldn't feel guilty when you snapped at him.
Not the asshole. I have 4C chemically straightened hair. In my country almost all women have the same done to their hairs and we sleep with hair nets, not even beautiful and stylish silk scarves, and our significant other don't mess with us for that. It looks like he needs a reality check on two things, first being the fact the women have flaws and work to be beautiful, and two, that having a black wife is not a pass for racist jokes and to mess with black grooming issues he doesn't understand.
Not the asshole. As a white man married to a black woman, I can say that I learn new things that are different between us every day, and I have never made race jokes about it, and me and my wife mess with each other all the time. He not only made a racist joke, but continued over and over again. Then he proceeded to hide the scarf that you had explained you needed, proceeded to complain about how he doesn't want it even though you need it. You called him out on it and he got upset. Now he has the nerve to say that you need couples counseling because you made him feel racist. He said racist stuff and you called him on it. He felt racist because he was being racist. He needs to look at himself and realize that his behavior was not acceptable, and he needs to apologize.
Not the asshole. You aren't making a race issue, he is. Your haircare routine is what keeps your hair nice. Him commenting on you either looking like a slave or grandma is hurtful and unnecessary, as is hiding the scarf to force you to abandon your personal care for his enjoyment. What you said may have been a shock to him, but having your racially insensitive remarks addressed can be pretty shocking. I agree there needs to be some counseling, but I'd say it's more personal counseling for him, not really a couple's issue.
Not the asshole. Weird that your husband is more upset about feeling racist than how he treated you. Normally I feel like Reddit is too quick to suggest ending relationships, but man, I really can't imagine having to explain how race and racism works to my partner for the rest of my life.
Info. Why wouldn't you want to go to counseling?
Not the asshole. He brought race in when he started saying that you look like a slave. He was being racist. It's good he feels bad about it though.
Not the asshole. He has racist issues. I am white and cringed reading about slave joke. That is totally inappropriate.
Not the asshole. He brought race into it. Not you. I'm a white woman, and I know that my hair is different than most black women's hair. That means different hair care. And the constant slave jokes are weird and racist.
Not the asshole. Look, I can get a granny joke or two at first, but that very first slave comment should have never happened. I can't believe the patience you showed him. I'm white, so I'm not even gonna pretend to know how hurtful those comments were. Not the asshole at all. My husband and I are interracial WF, BM, and I'd be frankly disgusted with myself if I started making slave jokes. Not funny. You should not have to shoulder the emotional weight of teaching him proper race relations or playing Google for him. He needs to go to a black therapist on his own so they can work together on that shit. If the therapist wants to do it, that is.
Nah. If he married you, he is okay with your looks, culture and background. I think this is one of those times where misunderstanding grows into an issue. Counseling sounds like a great idea. I'm also in an interracial marriage, and things like this can happen.
Not the asshole. His jokes were racially insensitive, which is a nice way of saying they were racist. You explained to him why you wrapped your hair up. He seemed to understand, and yet he kept making those jokes, and then hiding your scarf. So no wonder you yelled at him. Counseling could be a good option, because there will be other areas in which he'll lack knowledge about your experience. And ideally he would listen to you and refrain from making jokes in poor taste repeatedly until you inevitably blow up at him.
Not the asshole. I'm a white woman, and even though I don't have to go through this with my hair, I know what he did was wrong. It's just common sense, and your husband is being an insensitive jerk. I do wear one of those towel wrap things when I get out of the shower, and my husband has made jokes about it. Men are really weird about women's hair being wrapped up.
Not the asshole. He is a racist. That slave comment is disgusting, like, can't believe you didn't correct him immediately. He obviously has no respect for your personal grooming choices. This sickens me.
Info. Does he not understand that 4C hair is fragile, prone to easily drying out, and causing a ton of damage when it's laid on all night? And what happens if you have a little girl who wants longer hair? She can't brush it like white girls, or style it like white hair. 4C hair is the curliest on the scale, which requires extra care. He needs to be schooled on the right way to care for black hair, because he has a black wife. he can't expect his black wife to groom like a white woman. No race therapy is needed, only hair therapy is in order.
Not the asshole, but his comments seem problematic to me on a bigger scale. I feel like counseling might not be a bad idea.
Not the asshole. He's the one with race issues, not you. He needs to educate himself as to why his behavior was so problematic if he doesn't understand it, and he owes you an apology.
Not the asshole. He started with the slave jokes.
Literally, there's no race issue from her side. You're just trying to take care of your hair, and his little side comments don't help with the fact that kinky hair has always been viewed in a negative light. Not the asshole. Edited for clarification. Not the asshole. Black guy here, it sounds like he isn't ready to be with a black woman and he clearly doesn't get it. This is important, as you know. Don't let him chip away at you for years because of his own racist issues, you'll just end up questioning yourself. I've been there when dating white people, and I've seen family stick it out for years and end up a mess because of it. Self-care is important. I know the type, he 100% is on the internet talking racist nonsense and finishing with "my wife is black." Send him packing.
Not the asshole. If he wasn't being racist, he was at the very least playing fast and loose with super harmful stereotypes. And even if he hadn't made race a part of it by saying you look like a slave, he still belittled your hair care and self-care routines and pretended you are ridiculous for going to such measures. Counseling makes sense, and good on him for suggesting it. But you pointing out that an aspect of your identity was the butt of his jokes was probably important in the long term, even if it hurt his feelings. Absolutely not the asshole. Your white husband called you a slave multiple times and you're the one who's feeling guilty.
Not the asshole, so making slave jokes doesn't make him feel racist as well. Yet, you should have married a white woman if you didn't want a headscarf is. He's feeding you bullshit and tell you in prime rib.
Not the asshole. He needs to look into his internalized racism though.
Not the asshole. Hiding your scarf is a deliberate effort to deny you a certain level of bodily autonomy, and his remarks about it are disgusting. Info, you don't seem okay with his racist jokes, but it seems like he thinks it's okay. Are you okay with it? If not, why does he think it's okay? Not the asshole. A friend of mine, also a black woman who dated a white guy, wears a satin wrap to bed, and the first time he saw it, he called her Aunt Jemima. She laughed at first, and then he said it every single night, and started calling her a slave and a mammy and thinking he was just hilarious. She was no longer amused. When she spoke up, he got offended by her accusing him of being racist and even said, "All my white friends think it's funny, you should lighten up." Needless to say, they are broken up. Sorry for the rant, this just reminded me so much of that.
Not the asshole. Your husband started with the slave comment, but it's the kind of humor you're okay with it, then sure. But then continuing it even when you were upset, then that's when he should have known when to stop. I agree your comment was a little overboard, but cause and effect. If he hadn't done that, you wouldn't have had given that response. Could you have said something else? Sure. But all this wouldn't have happened if he didn't continue to provoke you emo. I'd suggest talking to him. He is your husband after all. Sometimes people just try to play cute and act funny without realizing how it affects the other person. It happens. No reason to blow it out proportion emo. Not the asshole. It's a problem when you call out his racism, but his racist garbage itself isn't a problem. You can wear whatever you like, and if the comments make you uncomfortable, he should stop saying them. That slave joke was way too far. I can't think of any time when a slave joke wasn't too far though, so I don't know why he would think it's a good idea to make one. You made him feel like a racist, yet he's the one saying his black wife looks like a slave.
Not the asshole. Calling you a slave is not a joke. Hiding your scarf and pushing it when you are upset is not funny. He definitely has race issues. He loves you and married you and clearly doesn't see you as inferior, but he fails to see his statements about looking like a slave are racist statements. Being married to a black woman doesn't change that. It's not a free pass to say SHT like that.
Not the asshole. I am a black woman married to a white man, and it is totally okay to call your husband on his racism. I call my husband out when I think he is saying something racist, and it helps him to learn. Everyone should do this whether or not they are in an interracial relationship. Now, I'm sure you could have expressed your feelings better, but the point needed to be made. He feels racist because he was being racist.
Not the asshole. He is being a racist and a damn idiot. Info. Does he usually make comments like this? Like, that's super inappropriate. I get him not knowing how much work goes into maintaining natural hair and feeling a little shocked when he first saw the scarf, but that should have gone away pretty quick. It does sound like therapy is needed, therapy for him, specifically. Couples therapy might be good later down the road, but he needs to address his issues before anything else. He may not think he's a racist, but he's saying some pretty racist crap.
Not the asshole. I'm white and have a silk-sided pillow and scarf for bed to protect my curls, so I understand why you need them. He's been racist. The slave comments are disgusting and unnecessary. I think counseling is a good idea, as he needs to understand he's a racist dick.
Not the asshole. Sounds like he's resentful and it's letting latent racism out. Dunno how I'd counsel you.
Not the asshole. Judging by the title, I thought maybe you were going to bring race into a situation unnecessarily, but he obviously has some issues. You didn't make him feel racist. He was being racist. Those slave jokes are way out of line, especially if you told him they make you uncomfortable. It sounds like you guys really do love each other, but I would definitely say counseling is a good idea because he's got some underlying stuff he needs to work through. Again, he needs to understand that the counseling shouldn't be because you hurt his little feelings with you comment. It's because he's cutting you deep with his typo.
Not the asshole, but I think couples counseling will help your marriage. You should try and find one who has had experience working with interracial couples.
Not the asshole. Did you tell your husband that you didn't like the jokes though? Maybe he thought he was just being funny and didn't realize that it was hurting you. I'm white, so I have no place to judge how that would feel, and I agree that he should never have said that slave thing in the first place.
Besides this particular incident, do you normally have a good marriage? My hubby repeats things over and over because he thinks he's being funny and it's not. It occasionally makes me grit my teeth. Mentioning therapy the next morning sounds like he was still pouting that you called him out.
Not the asshole. I don't know why you're apprehensive about your husband's suggestions. I absolutely agree that you guys should get therapy for your race issues. It's not about being serious, and it's not a punishment, but a way to learn and grow with your partner. Your husband was being insensitive. He has a lot to learn. Honestly, good on him for the suggestion. It shows he's taking steps to fix his racist behavior.